Alright, if you guys didn't see the last video where I opened everything that we got at Fan Expo, go watch that really quick, because today we're going to be redoing the entire setup so that, well, it looks a little bit nicer. But let's look at this, just see how everything looks right now. We've got our Pokemon, our One Piece, our kind of VR, avatar, random books, and just a bunch of randomness here in the middle. Then we've got our Naruto, Attack on Titan, our artwork, Naruto figure, kitty cat that never stops talking, and just the room's just kind of a mess right now. Since I've had to do a bunch of stuff, I have a random box over here, I've got, you know, my bins over here. All this is just an absolute mess. We've got my setup is very dirty right now. Like I said, I have just been very busy, so I haven't cleaned. But today is a clean day for the entire house, as well as redoing this setup and everything. So, you know, we're gonna walk through the whole process of doing this, but yeah, well, let's get right into it. Alright, so it has definitely been a couple days since I recorded the first part of this, but we are back to doing the room and everything. So today we are going to go ahead and we're going to take everything down off of all the shelves, and we're going to have to find a way to put them all back here. And I'm kind of excited for this. And also, yes, I'm wearing the Avatar jersey, and yes, I'm wearing Christmas pants in the middle of June, or July. We're in July, yeah. So let's go ahead and let's get right into it. Now, the first thing we had to do was take everything off the shelves and put it on the ground. After that, since they were absolutely disgusting, we did have to wipe them down so they could be nice and clean. After wiping them down for a while, we got that really nice clean touch that I was looking for. But we were missing something. We were missing some LED Govee lights that we could add some nice flares to the setup. Wait, you're telling me you haven't heard of Govee? The fastest growing electronics brand in North America, with over 20 million plus users using their app that lets you customize all your Govee lights? Speaking of Govee, have you heard the news? They're doing an official collaboration with Neon Genesis Evangelion. So for all you anime weebs out there like myself, you can bring your setup to life. And if you click the link in my bio, you can get some crazy good discounts. So whether you're looking for some nice outdoor LEDs to set the mood this summer, or you want your setup to come to life, go with Govee. Now, let's get back to the setup. Alright, now that we have everything set up, let's take a nice quick look at our setup. Alright, perfect. Now that we have, you know, seen this setup and it looks as beautiful as it is, let's talk about it, and let's talk about the befores and the afters for it. So the obvious first one is our top shelf. Now this one did have a lot of random Pokemon-ness to it, but it was still kind of put together. But I think being able to take that out and just throw a nice little sports section up there, I think is really nice, because also for the future, if I get more sports stuff, I have a spot to put it. And our second shelf, our Pokemon shelf, and I feel like this one also had a small change, but a big difference, because of the fact of, yes, it stayed Pokemon, but being able to remove the Pikachu and still have that nice going space around the whole thing, I think really improved to the overall aesthetic of it. And then of course, the One Piece one, I think this one changed probably the most for the better, for the fact of we added more art to it, so it didn't feel so empty, we kind of got rid of the clutter in it, but we still made it feel very full at the same time. And honestly, I think this shelf turned out way better than I think I was expecting it to. And then for the next one, which I think is also still technically the one-piece shelf, but being able to take the Lego set and move it a little bit under and get rid of all the bulkiness of the drone in the VR set there, I think it was a good spot for it, but I think this just fits a little bit better. And then, you know, being able to kind of not necessarily get rid of, but absolutely change the avatar area and just change it into a fully functioning setup for me, being able to, you know, have my cameras there, have my gimbal, all my stuff that I might need in future videos at that easy access is really nice. And I feel like it's just a nice fun text section, but being able to move the avatar to a different spot I think really helped the aesthetic as well. And I'll admit the bottom one really doesn't matter because it just kind of was all my books and whatnot, and now it's just kind of a secondary tech area, so that way if I need, you know, my controller, other stuff for videos, it's just there and it's nice and easy to grab. Then we have our middle section. Now this really did change a lot from the bottom ones just kind of being random stuff to being more personal, to each individual cube kind of having its own story, being with having the My Hero Academia section, the Dr. Stone section, the Promised Neverland, and the very nice just anime section as a whole. And being able to kind of declutter that middle area and turn it into the Naruto section I think also really helped the aesthetic for this area. And then moving on to the top side of our left one. Now I have always been a big Harry Potter person. I grew up watching it, so by default I had to have a small Harry Potter section, and I think being able to move the painting actually from all the way up there to right next to me is a really nice way of just kind of fitting everything together. Now I will admit for this next section I was a little bit worried just for the sheer fact of Naruto is one of my favorite series, and I was really worried that this wasn't going to fit in a different spot. Thank God that it was able to fit nicely in the middle because we were able to create a second Pokemon section which was able to have the Pikachu nicely well put without it also feeling very crowded, and honestly I love how it turned out. And the next is the Attack on Titan section. Let's be honest, nothing really changed with this. A few things just kind of switched spots, but nothing was really added or taken away. Everything was just kind of shifted around, but I think this looks a little bit more neat for the section. And last but not least, the kind of bottom section as a whole, because of the fact of this was just clutter. So this was equipment, this was cards, this was prime bottles, this was just literally anything that I had just kind of got stuffed into the corner down there. But now I think it looks a lot better, you know, having that little bit of a difference between, you know, the avatar section, the Squishmallows, and then all my books and whatnot at the bottom. Now personally I really loved how everything turned out in this setup, because it felt more like me being in a setup instead of just kind of it all over the place. And as always, I really enjoy doing setup videos, so if you guys did enjoy, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Make sure to go pick up your Govee Lights down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace. Bye.